What up, what up? It's your homeboy Maul the Pimp, aka MTP, and welcome to another edition of the Pimp Holler TV podcast. I got a very special guest in here. This guy right here is probably one of the most controversial people in Chattanooga, Tennessee. One of the most outspoken people in the city. You know what I'm saying? He gets a lot of backlash, but he stands on what he stands on. You follow what I'm saying? I'm talking about Mr. Patrick Hampton. Welcome to Pimp Holler TV, and how you doing, man? Welcome
Man,
back.
I'm doing.
Welcome back.
Yeah, right. Man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you for having me on, man. At least giving a different perspective, on a lot of the topics. So I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate you having me on,
Thank you, man. I
man.
want to first, before we even get started, send my condolences out for the loss of your brother. You follow what I'm saying? I want to send my condolences out. You know what I'm saying? So, my condolences and prayers to you, your mom and daddy, his kids, the whole family. So I want to say that before I even get started, man. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
Now, what I want to get you on here to talk about, man, because here within the last week or two, you've been focusing on and being real outspoken about hospitals having death protocols for certain patients that they bring in. So, where are you going with that? Speak on why you're saying it's death protocols and what you mean by that when it comes to the hospitals.
Right. Well, as you know, during this pandemic, man, it's been wild. I don't think it's been anybody that I know that haven't been affected by, COVID, this pandemic, and the vaccines and all of those things. And so what I found out, and I recently found out with my brother's passing and my brother's ordeal with COVID, is that, and this is the phrase that I'm saying, it's not COVID that's killing people. It's actually the protocols that they have to treat people that's actually killing them. And I can just give you an example. You never hear about people dying from COVID at the crib or at home. You never hear about them just, croaking over and dying on the couch from COVID. They always die when they're in the hospital. And that's why I believe, and I have some evidence to prove this, that what they're doing to us in the hospitals is actually what's killing us.
Okay, what are they doing?
All right. Basically, and I can give my brother's example. My brother was overweight. He was a diabetic. He had a lot of health issues going on. My brother was at home sick for about 8 days before he ever went and got tested and went to the hospital or anything. All right, this is the first protocol that's actually getting people into the hospital. So when his wife got sick, he drove her to get tested. When they went and got tested, his wife's oxygen was at 90% saturation. So they gave her a shot, an antibody shot, and she got better within 24 hours. My brother was at an 87% oxygen saturation rate, 3 points from her. They refused to give him the antibody shot, and he had to go to the emergency room immediately. Now, mind you, he probably was at 90 like her, but they made him park his car like way across the parking lot. And because he was overweight, he had to walk back to the testing center. So as he walked back to the testing center, his oxygen level dropped below 87 or dropped below 90 to 87. He couldn't get the antibody shot. His wife could. His wife is still alive today. He's dead today. Points off, you can't get that shot. And they immediately make you go to the hospital. That's one protocol right there that's hurting people. Then I talk to other people that are of different ethnicity, Hispanic people, white people, and I asked them, I was like, man, when you got the antibody shot, what was your oxygen level? I had one lady tell me she was at an 84, and it was a white lady. They gave her the antibody shot at 84%, but my brother couldn't get it at 87%.
So you who's is race related? You think it's race related?
I'm not necessarily saying it's race related. It's just the protocol. Somebody is making these protocols. They're saying, okay, it could be female. It may not be race. It could be gender. It could be the women get it, but the men don't. whoever is making these rules and these protocols are the ones that's actually deciding on who gets treatment and who don't.
I get it. Let me ask you this. Once your brother got to the hospital or checked into the hospital, at what point did you or him, I'm gonna say you, at what point did you realize that it was probably the wrong decision?
I think he realized it. He realized it immediately because this is how they got him to check in. My brother didn't really like hospitals. He don't like doctors. He don't like medicine. He don't like none of this stuff. That's why he didn't get the vaccine. He's like me. He graduated from Brainerd in '89, went to an HBCU, Knoxville College, graduated from there. So he's a logical thinker. So he was like, the only reason he checked in is because they told him, if we get your oxygen levels back to 90, we're going to let you get the antibody shot tomorrow. That's the only reason he checked in. Once he checked into the hospital, they told him, well, once we put you on oxygen, then you can't get the antibody shot. But see, they didn't tell him that at first. They just said, we're going to get you back to 90, then we're going to get you the shot. So he realized right then, he was like, hold on, y'all told me I could get the shot the next day. And now y'all telling me I can't get it. So they put him on this oxygen, this high flow oxygen that they put through your nose and all that stuff. And his lungs became dependent on that oxygen. And so before he was walking around, it was hard for him to breathe, but he walked into the hospital and stuff, but he was still dependent on his own lungs, his own activity. Once they put you on that high flow oxygen, your body get used to that and it wants that. And then when they take you off, your lungs like, hold on, I can't do it by myself. I need that. So you become dependent on their systems. And that's how they keep you in there.
Okay. Now, I saw a few of the live videos you was making when you was on FaceTime with one of the doctors, and you was requesting ivermectin. You feel me? Now, I want to ask you this. Now, just like you, what me and you are definitely on agreement on is that we're against the vaccine. You're against it, I'm against it. Me and you see eye to eye on that right there. Right. Ivermectin, I did some research. That's not FDA approved for COVID. You feel me? So it's like more for like parasitic infections, but it's not FDA approved for COVID. So with that being said, why were you pushing for that right there?
Okay, it's actually, and to be honest, it actually just came out today where the FDA has changed it. The NIH has changed it, and it's actually one of the drugs on the list now. It actually came out today. Now I send it to you, so maybe you can put that on the screen or something. But there is data out there and doctors out there that have done clinical trials with ivermectin where it actually has worked on COVID patients. One, as a prevention, and then also if you get real sick, if you take the right amount of dosage for your blood, it can actually help you. Because what happens is when you catch COVID, it starts to form blood clots and stuff in your lungs and in your blood and all of that. And a lot of people start dying from blood clots. Ivermectin gets in your bloodstream and actually helps those blood clots not form. Okay, that's why people are using it as a treatment. And there are some doctors out there that's actually saying that COVID is actually a blood disease. It's not necessarily a virus like the flu, like we've been treating it as, but it's actually stuff happening in your blood. That's why people are getting blood clots and dying, even with the vaccine. So they give you a vaccine that goes into your blood that's supposed to help with the virus. Ivermectin is able to do that as well. So there's actually data out there that proves that. And you can go to, I believe it's called the Frontline Doctors. These frontline doctors actually have a protocol and data to prove that ivermectin actually helps with the antiviral part of COVID. and it won a Nobel Peace Prize for being a great drug. It's a cheap drug. The problem is the hospitals don't want to use it because they can't make money off of it.
Okay.
And then you had the media come out telling people that it's a horse, like it's for horses. Yeah, horses get parasites and viruses just like humans.
Dogs. I heard it was for dogs. Like
for dogs, for animals, it's the same thing. They use it for when a dog has a virus and it has a blood disease. They use it for dogs and animals. But there's also a human pill that you can take that can help you as well. And the media won't tell us that. And that's one of the protocols. I asked for 3 things for my brother: ivermectin, vitamin C, a high dose of vitamin C through an IV, and a high dose of vitamin D through an IV. Because the studies actually prove that people that's dying of COVID, they're actually deficient of vitamin D and vitamin C. So if you shock the immune system, your natural immune system, with vitamin C and vitamin D, it helps you fight back. Anybody that got COVID know that you lose your energy, like it zaps you. Just like that. When somebody takes vitamin C, it gives them the energy to fight back. That's all I was asking the doctors. But they couldn't approve it because if they break the protocol, Mal, if they break it, they don't get $166,000 from the government. $166,000, but they got to follow remdesivir, dexamethasone, and these other drugs they got to put in you to get the $166,000. The problem is when they put these drugs in you, like remdesivir, it shut down your kidney, it shut down your liver, and then your lungs begin to fill with fluid. They put you on a ventilator, and then you die. It's the same protocol for everybody. Now, if somebody perfectly healthy, like if you young and you healthy and you've been working out and you take that stuff, you can survive the ventilator. But if you got any other comorbidities or any other issues, it actually begin to shut your organs down.
So you're basically going to get healed and you're getting killed.
That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like it don't, like right now, we didn't surpass 2020s with COVID deaths. Like 2020 was supposed to be the worst year because we didn't have no medicines for it at all. So it was like 252, I think, 1,000 people that died of COVID in 2020 in America. Now, in 2021, we had 272,000. How is more people dying when we have the vaccine and all these medicines out here that they giving us than people that died in 2020 when we didn't have nothing? That's because these death protocols in these hospitals are actually killing people.
So, would your advice be for somebody who have COVID? Basically, don't go to the hospital, just tough it out at home and take your chances there?
If we figure out how to treat this at home, Mal, it'll all go away. I'm telling you, it'll all go away because they realize they can't make money off of us anymore. That's why they fought hard for my brother not to live at home. They made sure, I mean, all the way down to hospice companies, oxygen companies, it's that deep. Where they was like, if my brother would have survived at home, that means a whole bunch of people could have survived. And so I'm saying we got to figure out a way to treat ourselves at home, just like we do with the flu and all this other stuff. Like we don't go to the hospital for the flu. Like we treat it with over-the-counter drugs. We don't, when you get a cold and stuff, we learn how to treat it. Some people drink orange juice, go get oranges. We start using these natural things to heal ourselves. But we immediately think, man, if we go to the doctor, they gonna help us. No, them hospitals are getting paid billions of dollars to treat us with these drugs. Like look at Pfizer. Pfizer sell the vaccine. The vaccine causes blood clots. Then they sell you the drug. I think it's called it starts with an E, like it's either Eurlis or something like that. Then that Pfizer make that drug to treat the blood clots. So they making money from the vaccine. Then they make money from the pill. And then when you get sick from the pill, they got another thing they gonna sell you. So we got to get smart and realize, like, man, our ancestors, man, they didn't have to go to doctors and stuff to get all these medicines. They figured out natural ways to heal their bodies. And that's what we're going to have to do with this disease.
Let me ask you this. You said they did everything they could basically make sure your brother didn't live outside of the hospital. What are some of the things that you would say that they did,
dude,
to make sure he didn't survive at home? And before you answer, I want to say this before you answer. For one, what are some of the things that they did to make sure he couldn't survive outside of the hospital? And to a two-part question. And two, I also speak on the situation with the oxygen that you went through with the oxygen.
Okay. Let me just kind of tell people how it went, because there's a whole bunch of people that don't understand. I mean, I got so many messages. I'm still getting messages from trolls and people from Reddit and all this stuff saying, man, you killed your brother.
I've been seeing a lot of that.
Yeah. And so it's like, they don't even know the story. Like, this is my oldest brother. And so because his wife was still sick, she couldn't help him. So his wife called me, like, crying. She was like, Patrick, Marlon just called me and he's crying like a baby, saying they mistreating him and they giving him stuff and they trying to put him on a ventilator and he don't want to be on the ventilator. She said, I can't help him because I'm still sick. She was like, can you call up there? I'm going to make you the medical advocate. Can you call up there and check on Marlon and make sure they treating him right? So his wife is the one that made me the medical advocate for him. So I called him and I text him. I'm like, man, what's going on? He said, man, something ain't right. Something ain't right, man. He was like, I walked in here and I was fine. I could breathe. He was like, now they done gave me this medicine. He's like, I feel my lungs filling up with fluid. They won't let me get up and walk. They won't let me use the bathroom. They got me on this oxygen. And I was like, man, but can you breathe? I said, can you breathe though? I mean, and I got videos of this. He snatched the stuff off his face and his nose. He's like, look, man, I'm talking to you right now. He said, I can breathe, but they won't let me do nothing. I'm just laying here on my back all day long, getting worse. He was like, and I said, so what do you want me to do? He was like, man, I want to go home. I want to go home. So then that night, he used the bathroom on himself and he laid in his own fecal matter for 7 hours at Erlang. For 7 hours. So he texted me at 4 a.m. He said, Pat, get me out of here today. Get me out of here today. And I was like, okay. So when I woke up that morning, I was getting ready and stuff. And then I told him, I said, when the doctors come in the room, just FaceTime me and I'm going to talk to him. So the doctor came in the room and they started sedating him. Like they was trying to like put him under to where he couldn't make decisions for himself. So he FaceTimed me. He was like, man, they in here again trying to put me on the ventilator. I done told them I don't want to go on the ventilator. So that's the video you saw on Facebook of me talking to the doctor saying, hold on, stop, don't sedate him. Like, don't sedate him. He don't want to go on the ventilator. Then they asked, they was like, can he make decisions for you? And my brother was like, yeah, he my medical advocate. Yeah, he can make decisions. So I started taking over right there. So I told him we want to leave. The only way to get out of the hospital, and everybody needs to know this, when you get to a point where your family member or your loved one want to get out, it's only one way to get out, and that's through hospice. I found out that was the only way to get out.
You can't check yourself out. You just can't check yourself out.
No, they won't let you check yourself out. They'll actually strap you down to the bed and say you being belligerent, take your phone, and you stuck up there.
Oh.
He was trying to get up and walk out. And even on the video that I posted, like my brother, he said, if you try to get up and walk out, you're going to fall flat on your face and you're going to die right here on the floor. He started talking about death. He kept telling my brother, you're going to die. You're going to die if you try to leave. Try to get on the elevator, you're going to die. So they try to scare you into staying, because if you stay and they get you on that ventilator, they get that $166,000. If they don't give you the remdesivir or the ventilator, they can't get no money for you. The hospital don't make no profit if they can't get you on remdesivir and get you on the ventilator. So that's so once I got him on hospice, and now I learned you got to have the right hospice company. But we went through Hospice of Chattanooga. So they scheduled my brother to leave. First, they tell him he leaving at 1:30 on October 1st. That moved to 2:30, then it moved to 4:30, 5:30, 7 o'clock. They end up releasing him at 7 o'clock. And there's a reason, this is the protocol. It's a reason they did that too, because they knew I was trying to get medicine for him from the pharmacy. I didn't know this. You can't get another doctor to prescribe you anything until you're actually released from the hospital. Like soon as you walk out of the door, then another doctor can come in and prescribe you medicine. Okay. So I had doctors waiting to give my brother the medicines he needed, but they wouldn't release him in time before the pharmacy closed. Okay. So they waited till all the pharmacies closed, and then the pharmacy where I could get the medicine, then they released him. So I had to wait a whole weekend to get him the medicine he needed, because only one pharmacy would fill the prescription he needed for ivermectin, vitamin C, and vitamin D. Okay. All right. So they wouldn't even, like Walgreens wouldn't even fill the like the 24-hour Walgreens, they wouldn't even fill ivermectin. They wouldn't even give him the stuff he needed. So I had to find one that would prescribe it to him and fill the prescription. So once we got out, he got out through hospice, he gets to the house. Once we get to the house, now hospice is supposed to have oxygen machines there waiting for you. They supposed to have a nurse there waiting for when you get home. It was nobody there. We had the bed and the machines were there, but they weren't even plugged up. So once he gets there, the EMTs set him up. They plug in the oxygen concentrators and the power trips. The power go out in the house. So we like, dang, what they have? So they had to hook him up to emergency oxygen tanks, the big silver tank oxygen. So they hooked him up to that. And guess what, Mom? Those were empty. So when he got home, the concentrators didn't work and the backup tanks were empty.
You think that was all planned?
Yes. Yes. I believe it was planned. And so we wouldn't have, guess what? We wouldn't even have known the reserve tanks were empty if the power didn't go out. So the power going out and the EMTs were like, all right, hook him up to the reserves. She hooked him up. She's like, these things are empty. And then so I got the power back on. So then we put the concentrators on 2 different walls so it wouldn't trip the breaker. And then we got them running. Then we realized one of the concentrators didn't work. So my brother went the first night at home with 1 concentrator when he was supposed to have 2, 1 concentrator and no reserve oxygen. He made it through that night. And then that's when I started making videos. Now, this is the second thing that happened, Mom. So then the second day, that was Friday, we get him home. He on one thing. Saturday morning, hospice send a nurse out to check on him. They send a nurse out. Now, some people may say this was a mistake. I believe it was on purpose. She unplugs him from the working machine and then plugs him into the machine that ain't working, and then she leaves. So my brother's oxygen level when we got him there was at 90. And I took pictures of that. You saw that on Facebook. I took pictures like, look, he was at 80 something at the hospital. I got him at 90 at home. So he's at 90. She unplugs him, plugs him into his oxygen into the machine that don't work. She leaves, and then he drops to a 74. And he got the mask on. He's like, man, she done did something. Something ain't right, man. She done did something. They ain't trained us on him or nothing. So I called my nurse friend. I called her, and I'm like, hey, his oxygen thing is dropping. Something ain't working. She like, Patrick, calm down. Just follow the lines. Follow the lines and see if they all plugged in. So I followed the line from his mask and saw it hanging on the floor. It was just laying on the floor. And I was like, man, she unplugged him. So then I plugged him up into the machine that was working or whatever. And that's when I called her. And you saw that video where I called her and I'm recording the phone call like, hey, you just unplugged my brother.
Is that when they hung up on you?
No, not that one. That ain't the one where he hung up. This right here is the hospice of Chattanooga. This the lady where I called her and I was like, you unplugged him. She was like, well, I didn't mean to. I said, well, you did. He was at a 90 when you got here and he has 74 right now. She was like, well, it must have fell off or something. And I'm sitting there like, man, how can you do that to somebody? This hospice, like your end of life care, supposed to be comfortable.
Right.
You know, and so we got that settled. So that's when I posted Hospice of Chattanooga sends me a message on Facebook apologizing. I put that up. I was like, so if they ain't do nothing wrong, why they apologizing to me? They apologizing. We're sorry you didn't have any oxygen. No one trained you. We're sorry, you know, that she made a mistake and unplugged him, all this stuff. So that's when me and his wife sitting there like, man, are they trying to kill him? What's going on? So these are protocols. So that happens. We call her back. We like, bring us a new oxygen concentrator, bring us all this stuff. So they bring that out, get him set up. My brother is at 93. I get him back to 93% oxygen at the crib, higher than it was at the hospital. So this the next thing that happened. So that night, he talks to the doctor on telemedicine. So he's talking to the doctor, and the doctor, he said, I want to see the oxygen machines they got you on. Because my brother was complaining that he felt real dry, like his nose was getting dry and all of that. So we turned the phone around, and he was like, you supposed to have humidifiers on those, like the little water tanks on the front. You need to have those so to keep it moist. He said, call them right now and tell them to bring you some humidifiers. So we call hospice. They send a maintenance guy out there. And I lie to you not. And this was a black dude, okay? He drops the stuff off on the porch and takes off. We don't know how to hook him up. He the guy that's supposed to. So we call him. We like, hey, man, we need you to come hook these up. He like, bro, I ain't got no mask. I ain't finna come in their house. I ain't got no mask. And he got COVID. So we like, dude, we don't know how to hook these up. You need to come hook them up. Bro, I ain't coming in there. I ain't got no suit. I ain't got no mask. So I'm like, yeah. So finally we begged, dude. He put his shirt on over his face like this and came in and hooked him up and then took off running out the door. So it's like thing after thing that's happening with this hospice company. So then the next day, I called the CEO. I called the CEO of hospice because he called me apologizing. So I now got his number. So I called him back. I was like, man, something is wrong, man, with these machines. Y'all need to get out here and bring me something right now, like that works. This stuff is not working. So he sends out another maintenance guy, a nurse, and a black girl that I put up. Did you see that picture of the black nurse that I put up?
I didn't see it. I didn't know.
So they come out and Maul, this the death protocol that we talking about. So the maintenance guy come out and he hooks everything up, make sure it's right. And he says, man, I've been giving orders to turn your brother down to 15 liters per minute. I was like, who gave you orders to turn him down? I was like, he had 93 with 20 liters per minute. He said, man, that's above my pay grade. They just told me to turn him down to 15. He can't have no more than 15. So I'm like, what the, so he leaves. So the nurse come in and I'm like, who gave y'all orders to turn him down to 15? And they was like, the doctor, the hospice doctor. And the doctor from the hospital wrote that he can't have no more than 15 liters. I said, but the EMT set him up at 20. He been at 93 with 20. Man, they turned him down. My brother dropped to 70. Then they sit down on the couch, Maul. This the picture I took of them sitting on the couch, watching my brother struggling to breathe. He was at 93, drops down to 70 because they just turned him down. So I'm getting hot. I'm getting pissed. I'm like, hold on. So then I was like, you know what? No, forget this. Somebody in here finna turn these machines back to where they were. My brother's struggling breathing right now. Somebody turn it up right now. Call somebody, a doctor, somebody, turn it up. They wouldn't show us how to do it. I ain't know how to do it. So I was like, turn these back up to 20. They was like, we got orders. We can't turn them up. He got to stay at 15. I looked at the nurse and pointed at her. I said, you have a Hippocratic oath to take care of patients, especially at the end of life, to make them comfortable. You see my brother is not comfortable. He has 74% please turn it up. She had a tear in her eye. She got up and she turned it up 2 notches from 15 to 17. She said, that's all I can do. And she sat down. That woman probably fired right now because she wasn't supposed to do that. So I was like, no, I need it turned up to 20 liters where he was when you got here. And then they sent a black girl that was supposed to calm us down, you know, because she black and we black. We supposed to be calm and work together. So I'm like, no, you call whatever doctor that's over you to turn this up. She refused to do it. I kicked him out of the house. I kicked him out. I said, get out. And I called another hospice company. I was like, I want to transfer service from Hospice of Chattanooga to a new hospice company. I transferred the service. Now, this is the part that you picked up where the dude, you know, refused to come out there or he hung up in our face. So we transferred hospice companies. That this is where they messed up, Mom, and this is where I'm going to get them in court. Because I transferred hospice companies, the oxygen company is contracted through Hospice of Chattanooga. They thought because I suspended Hospice of Chattanooga, their services were suspended. But the new hospice company used the exact same oxygen company as a contractor. So when we called them and we told them, y'all need to bring some more oxygen out here to my brother. He done ran out of oxygen. Y'all need to bring some more. That's when he hung up on us. He called back again. Y'all need to bring oxygen out here. And he said, my CEO told us we no longer have to supply your brother with oxygen. Then you tell me where they do that at, where somebody need oxygen and a company says we can't supply you no more with oxygen. And so once they did that, I called the new hospice company. I said, man, they're refusing to bring us oxygen. She said, okay, I'll call you right back. She called them and told them, y'all still work for us. Y'all still contracted through us. Take him some oxygen. Then they called me back like, okay, we on the way. We finna bring you 3 more tubes of oxygen. By the time they get there and hook him up, my brother died an hour later.
Okay, guys. So what's going to be the lawsuit? Negligence, malpractice?
Negligence and malpractice on the oxygen company and Hospice of Chattanooga.
Because that was my next question, which you guys just answered. My next question was going to be, what do you plan on doing to get some justice? You feel me?
Well, but that's my goal. But this the next phase of corruption. Every lawyer in Chattanooga told me they have a conflict of interest and they can't take the case.
I mean, they represent that company also. That's what that means.
Because they represent, they have ties with Hospice and Erlanger and the oxygen company. Everyone, Ma, I done called about 60 lawyers. 60? Every single one.
60?
60. Every single one saying that. So only one, I almost got one in Memphis that was gonna take it. Then he called back. Well, my partner got some dealings with Hospice, so I can't do it. I called Nashville today. I was on the phone 2 hours with an attorney in Nashville. No, we can't touch it, man. There's some laws that say because of COVID, we can't touch this stuff. So mind you, they can kill you in the hospital. Then you can't even sue them if there's any malpractice. So the only way to do it is that I have to write up the lawsuit myself and go represent my brother myself.
That what you plan on doing?
Yes. I'm studying the law right now. I got the laws and I'm gonna go in and I'm doing it myself.
You think you got a chance of
I promised my brother, I told him the last words I said to him before he died, I put my forehead on his forehead. I said, I don't know how God gonna use this. I said, but God gonna use your story to expose all of it. And he shook his head, yeah. And I said, I'm finna go to Burger King, get me something to eat. I'll be back. I left for 5 minutes. He was gone. The last thing I told him is that I was gonna fight for him. And so if anybody know me, they know I ain't gonna stop because these lawyers saying they can't do it. I'm gonna find a way through the Constitution to represent my brother and get before a jury of my peers and ask for justice for my brother.
Who was in there when he passed?
It was his wife and his son.
Okay.
Yeah. They was there. We were so tired, man, because we was trying to get him oxygen and keep him the stuff up. And man, we were so tired. We had ate all day. I was on 1 hour of sleep that day. And I guess God, man, saw that I was tired. I was tired. I was dog tired trying to save my brother's life. Driving around all Chattanooga looking for a pharmacy. I found one in Hickson. Only one that will help me. And so, like, I transfer all my medicine to that pharmacy just because they tried to help me.
Yeah.
And so it's these protocols, man, that they have that's keeping people, I mean, that's actually killing people, man. And that's what I sat down with my whole family after this. I said, listen, all of us, we all need to know what we want to do if we end up going to the hospital. Do you want to be on the ventilator or do you not? Do you want to stay in here and possibly for 40 days or whatever, trying to survive? Or do you want to go home and try some other treatment? Everybody should know what they want to do. If you don't, you put yourself at the mercy of these systems, these death protocols and death panels that they got set up for us.
Okay, I understand. It's a nice testimony, Patrick. It's nice. That's why I wanted to get you on here, man, because, you know, we see all the social media stuff. We see your posts, but, you know, we only see what you post. We don't know the specific details. So we see the posts, we see the people that support, and then we see the trolls. There's more trolls
Right.
than supporters. You follow what I'm saying? So
Right.
outside looking in who don't know you, or somebody who know you and got a prejudgment of you, they can take the wrong message from that. You feel me? And
right.
Along with that, he killed his brother shit. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I want to get you on here and tell your side and give details on this. So I want to get you on here and do that, man.
And that's the thing, man. People was calling me thinking I was suicidal and everything. They were like, man, you done killed your brother, bro. You done do this. And I was like, where's that coming from? And then I went and read all the stuff on social media. I was like, man, these trolls, that's what they're saying. Like, you killed your brother. And then, you know, even my wife, she was like, don't even go read that stuff. You know, it could get in your head. And I was like, baby, it don't even bother me because I was there with him every day. Like, I watched my brother cry like a baby, wanting to get up out of the hospital because how they was treating him. I watched them put the food behind his head where he didn't even know his food was behind him. So I watched the stuff they did. I recorded my brother leaving. He was so happy to get home. When he got home and talked to his daughters, he even taught his son how to pay his bills while he was at home. Because he knew he was getting ready to die. He was like, man, there's a possibility of me dying. So he taught his son how to pay all the bills. His 21-year-old son that stay in the house with him, wrote out the checks and everything. Prepare his son to take care of his mama. So I watched all of that. So my brother knew because of his weight and his medical condition, he already knew he had a chance of dying. He just didn't want to die in the hospital on a ventilator. He would rather die at home with his daughters, with his wife, and with me, his brother, caring for him. And that's how he went out. He wasn't scared of death.
You better than me, bro, because I wouldn't have been posting all that shit on the internet. I really wouldn't. You feel me?
Yeah.
When you do that and then being a public figure, like you, Andy, you open the door for the foolishness, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
let me tell you this. Because I did that, I'm the only person that have documented the protocols. Like, we got on tape them saying the CEO said don't bring him any oxygen. That's a protocol coming from a CEO deciding the life of another Black man. See, because I recorded it, now I got it on wax. I got it on wax, what they did. The dude saying that. I got it on wax. The girl unplugging my brother from a working machine into a non-working machine. I recorded it. And because I put it out, look, Facebook know how powerful it is. That's why they shut my page down. They shut I'm permanently banned on Facebook because it started going viral. It was going viral and people were sharing it and people calling hospice, calling Erlanger. That's the only reason my brother actually got out. Don't you know what Erlanger doing right now because of me? They taking everybody's phone.
Oh, for real?
So you go to Erlanger right now, you got a phone, you better hide it. Yes, they're taking phones now because they don't want nobody recording. I got the doctor telling, you gonna die. Telling my brother, you gonna die. You can't get this machine nowhere else. You gonna die. See, that's a protocol. Why can't I have the same machine they have in the hospital at the crib? there's a law that says, no, you can't have that machine. You got to go to the hospital and pay them to use it. So that's why I say I use my platform to expose the whole story. And because I got it on video, that's what the lawyers tell me. They was like, wow, you got video of this? I'm like, yep, I got video and I put it on social media.
And they still didn't touch it though.
They won't touch it. No, they won't touch it.
Everything tied in, bro.
That's what I'm saying. But when I get before a jury of my peers, like I'm talking to you right now, and everybody else, everybody gonna see it, and I'm gonna have the evidence right there. Then I'm gonna say, guess what? Facebook shut my whole thing down because I was putting this stuff up. When anybody hear that, my jury of my peers, they're gonna say that's wrong. That's wrong. I don't want the judge to decide. I want a jury of my peers to decide.
Okay. I hope that work in y'all favor, dog. I hope that work in y'all favor. I really do, man. I really do, bro.
Yeah.
So this is what I want to do, Pastor, man. Before we get out of here, I want to end it on a lighter note. You feel me? So this is what I'm finna do with you, man. I'm finna do this thing called the Pick One Challenge. I'm gonna name 2 things and you pick one.
All right.
You gotta pick one out of these 2. You ready?
Yeah.
First thing. Heavenly Wings or Buffalo Shack?
Heavenly Wings.
Herman's or Mimo's?
Herman's.
Detour or M&J?
Detour.
Hezekiah Walker or Kurt Franklin?
Hezekiah Walker.
Pueblo Dollar or TD Jakes?
TD Jakes.
Bush or Trump?
Trump, man. You already know. You did put 2 Republicans up there too.
I did it on purpose. Now you gotta pick this. You gotta pick this right here too. Bill Clinton or Obama?
Hey, Clinton.
Last one. Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Tupac. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool deal. It's been nice, y'all. There was another edition of the Pimp Holler TV podcast with my guy, Patrick Hampton. You know what I'm saying? Again, we send condolences and much love to his family. Rest in peace to his brother Marlon. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is called Pimp Holler TV. Go to my website, www.maulthepimp.com, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which is @maulthepimp. It's been love, y'all, and we out of here. Yeah.